What's up, Kansas City? I'm Kelsey Burris, and I'm here with Jade Osborne, a performing arts and visual artist. How are you today?
I'm well. Thanks for having me.
You're so welcome. So can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Sure. So there's basically like three aspects that I work with. One is that I'm an artist, and then secondly I'm an activist, and thirdly I'm an activator. Being an artist, I'm a performing and a visual artist. So I will do movement or dance. I also do aerial work, and I used to teach and perform capoeira as well. And then as a visual artist, I will paint or draw. The activism portion is that I usually work with nonprofits and work with young people through the arts and kind of elevating them and kind of doing outreach work using art as a medium. And then the activator aspect is really about like the energy of just kind of bringing everybody up and inspiring and kind of elevating the overall feel.
Okay. So the one thing that amazes me about your performing arts is it's not just a normal form of dance that any person would just say, hey, I want to do aerial acrobatics. So what made you want to get involved with that?
I think it's, I began learning classically trained dance. So I kind of grew up in this little, box of dance. And then once I noticed something beyond that, which the first introduction to that was capoeira, which is an Afro-Brazilian kind of martial art dance form. And so I saw movement from a different standpoint all of a sudden. And so I trained in that form, and then I started seeing, and it was Cirque du Soleil shows, of course, I started seeing more aerial performances, and I just thought it was the most beautiful, most feminine and gorgeous thing, and I thought it was something that I could train, and that would be kind of like a counter to like this hyper-masculine martial art form I had been training. So that's how I got into it. And yeah, it's just been, it's not something that everybody does, but you'd be surprised that a lot of people really enjoy even just taking classes or learning about it. There's a big, huge movement towards circus. A lot of people like the circus arts. It's a new thing.
Yeah. So what was that first, that first class that you took to start learning these aerial acrobatics? What was that like for you?
The very first class I took, I was visiting a friend in Seattle, and it was a class on in rope and on lyra, like two apparatuses that I don't actually train in now. But it was a huge class. There were 30 people. Everybody was trying things, and we were falling, and we were laughing, and then we were whining because it hurt, and it was like a 2.5 hour class of just people playing, basically. It was like an adult playground, and I figured, oh my gosh, like this is, I want to be in this kind of place, where it's okay to be silly, and it's okay to try new things, and so yeah, that was where it began.
Wow. Okay, so we know you're here in Kansas City working with Alvin Ailey. What exactly do you do with them? What work do you do?
Sure. Well, we're lucky in Kansas City. We have a nonprofit specifically dedicated to bringing the professional troupe in. And then they also head lots of different programming throughout the year, but right now they're heading Ailey Camp. So it's the Kansas City Friends of Alvin Ailey. And they run both the Kansas and Missouri side Ailey camps, where we work with middle school aged youth. And I actually teach the art classes. And it's kind of, it's fun for me because I get to still work with the youth, working through the arts. They have amazing dancers who they bring in, like national dancers. So I get to see kind of how these professional dancers are working with the youth, and then we're all kind of a part of this amazing program that in the end the kids have these different art skills and these different dance skills, and they kind of just develop more of who they are. So I've done that now for a little over a decade, and and I love that program. Like it's like coming home every year.
And from my understanding, you also travel with your acrobatics. So where is it taking you?
I just did an around the world. So I just got back about a month ago. So I came back for Ailey to do some other programming. And So yeah, I did and I'm starting to do more work with adults now, so more retreats, and more like specific movement style pieces, doing more festivals as well. So I was in Bali, Indonesia, for about 6 weeks, and then I was in India for a few weeks, and then I went into Europe for another month or so. And I'm going to be heading back again to kind of see what other collaborations I can kind of make happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what would you say the craziest thing you've ever done was?
The craziest thing I've ever done was probably I did a show at the Kansas City Power and Light stage, and the height there is where I was performing from, the equivalent, it was probably about 5 stories,
Okay.
4 or 5 stories high, and I think, and it was also a challenge because it was, you know, a little cold. It was an October show, so there was lots of challenges between, you know, doing things that were really high, even though we trained for them, but then having this extra challenge of it being a little cold, so making sure that our bodies were warm and everything was safe. And I think, you know, thinking back now, like knowing I did this great routine and I did it really high,
Yeah.
I feel good knowing I've done that, and I don't feel like I need to do anything that crazy again. So it's kind of nice. I can just check that one off the list.
Yes.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, that's part of being an aerialist. You can perform at many different heights, but it's amazing to think that we're doing things that, you know, it's like anti-gravity. Like
Right.
humans aren't really supposed to be dancing, you know, 5 stories high, but we do it.
Yeah.
We figure out how.
Do you ever get scared?
Sure, yeah, like a little bit, but most of the time, because we've trained and we've practiced, it's fine, you know. The brain will do something, you know, like your mind will get a little nutty,
Right.
but if you can trust that your body knows what it's supposed to do and you're strong and it's going to handle this for you, then that'll help the mind to relax. And those moments, you know, when you doubt yourself, they just come up for a moment. And then you can kind of relax into it, knowing that you're fine, you got this, you know? So,
Well, that sounds like something people can use in their everyday lives.
yeah.
Just, you know, combating fear. Because
Right.
I know that was me. Oh, no.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
could
you
not
can
get
do
up
it.
there.
You can do it. You slowly work your way up, you know? Like, nobody starts at the top and then works down, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if you could go back, would you have done something different with your life?
No, but I was just thinking about this, because I was just thinking yesterday about what it would be like if I had gone to school in a different place. Like, would I be a different person? Because I went to school in New Orleans.
Okay.
So, so I thought, like, if I had gone to, like, New York, I might have gone the professional dance route. Or if I had gone to school in California, I might have done, like, a professional artist route.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just interesting that, you know, just that one little change could have made me a completely different person. But, you know, I kind of doubt it. I'm sure that I'm still doing the same things that I would always do no matter what. So, so would I change anything? Probably not. I don't know if I could.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we're kind of still drawn to that path anyway.
That's totally understandable. So, how can people see more of you?
Well, I have a website. My website is jadeosborne.com, JADEOSBORNE. And from there, you can see all the different aspects. So that artistry, the activism, and then the Activator sites from there. So then you can learn more about all the different aspects.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you again so much
Thank you.
for coming on to our show. And once again, this is Jade Osborne, and I'm Kelsey Burris, and this is What's Up Kansas City.